From there, we go to Renee's sit down with Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, the Bucks. They are now the EVPs officially on screen, and it's time for them, they explain, to take these jobs more seriously. Renee goes to mention the rumors, and Matt denies all the rumors that are out there about them and asks about what if you had rumors that were breaking down your life's work and losing your legacy and friendships, all in the name of sacrificing to make sure there was a healthy alternative wrestling company. Did you get your paycheck this week, Renee? You're welcome. Matt says, back at the beginning, which you weren't here for, Renee, we used to say something called change the world. And that was about out with the old, in with the new. And somewhere along the way, we lost our way. The culture here shifted. Toxicity entered the locker room, and it just became different. And we started to lean on yesterday's cancerous superstars. And Sting is none of those things. Sting's a model employee. He's one of the greatest of all time. Wonderful man. But he represents the last of that dying breed. And if we're the ones who have to say goodbye to Sting, well, we'll do it, because we would never ask anyone else to do something that we wouldn't do ourselves. And as EVPs, we can pull some strings to try and get that match at Revolution. Now we've got to go. We have a meeting to get to. This is a very bizarre, roundabout way to get to. We want to get rid of the cancer in this locker room. Sting's wonderful, but we got to get rid of him first. So that is our direction. And more important is that they are now teasing different matches for Sting, and it is not solidified yet, at least on programming, of the Young Bucks, because later we would get a video of these guys wanting to go for the tag titles on top of it, Sting and Darby.
Right, but the retirement, I think it seems pretty safe that it'll be the Bucks.
Well, we came out of this video and the question was, who will be the opponents for Revolution? It's not like they just stated it as fact. Like, that may in fact be where we get to. But they were at least like putting this video out of at least Sting and Darby going for these tag titles at some point.
Could they not go for the titles and possibly defend them at Revolution? Whatever. There are a lot of directions, but I would say they're pushing the Bucks versus Sting and Darby pretty hard by this point.
I think that's the match. Yeah. I guess the question is, like, do you put the tag titles up there? Which I don't know if this match really needs them, but they could throw it out there with the idea that Sting gets to retire as a tag champion.
Yeah, maybe to justify like a main event spot. Not that it needs justification. Yeah, this segment, the first time we get to hear Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, I find it really hard to take them seriously. I mean,
what are you talking about?
Well, I don't. I'm sure it's the intent, but it's. It comes across like it's over the top BTE comedy to me, and I'm not sure if it's the fit I envisioned for Sting's final match, which I kind of envisioned to be maybe something similar, more similar to like Sean and Flair, a lot more seriousness and I don't know, sentimentality attached to it. But it's still too early to say whether or not they may or may not hit that note. It's just I guess we're starting off from definitely more of like a comedic sort of I don't know, tone, at least with the Bucks. I'm also
is it possible that they could acquire the old Butch character with their new outfits? Like, that's what they remind me of. Like,
the old Butch, what do you mean?
Like 30s, like mustache twirling, like train jumpers. Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna get that Sting fella. Like this.
See, I can buy the Bucks wanting to re-debut these characters after their hiatus. I guess I just don't know if it's such a good fit with a Sting retirement, which is already enough of a story in and of itself, right? Again, too early to say. They could find a great way to really get there, but it leaves me a little bit sort of doubtful. I also want to maybe address like all the sort of like brawl out or references. What exactly did he mean by sacrificing everything? And like, what exactly were the rumors that he was referring to?
Well, I mean, that could be one of like 10 million rumors that are out there. He wasn't specific. I think that is where you're going to lose some of this because it was sort of just implied that everyone is following all of this day to day, or like even like I think this could have been like I got the gist of what the message was, that here are these guys that have been put in these positions that has required them to kind of play this balancing act of like, we are these popular wrestlers, but we're also like office now. And in the middle, like, we get tons of stuff thrown at us, and it's cost us certain like friendships. It's cost us to some that have lost faith in us. Like, I think it could have been better outlined here. But again, when we're going back to all the fallout of the Punk stuff, it's like, fair enough, you don't want to touch any of this, but when there is anything to like squeeze, like wring that last bit of water out of that cloth from for the gain of a program, then we will address, like, we'll address it in this kind of a form and just go with the impression every single person knows what we are talking about here. And I don't know if this is necessarily going to be just too vague, too cryptic for people to latch onto, even if you're aware at a base level of what's gone on the last year and a half. Do you have an emotional attachment to this?
Well, I mean, I just speaking for myself, I follow this every day. I follow this probably closer than 99.9% of the world. And I guess I'm still looking for specifically what rumor he is referring to that has maybe I don't know, that he's had to sacrifice to absorb in order to keep the company alive. There are maybe it's because there were a lot of rumors, but maybe like it's because there were a lot. I just don't even know specifically what's the thing that he's had to like kind of withstand.
He can't say. He can't say because he's got an NDA. You could literally ask him in an interview, what are these rumors you're referring to? And he wouldn't be able to tell you, but we're going to like kick the can around in for this storyline now, where you could think of like how many things have been said about the Bucks and what their role is in all of this stuff.
Yeah, because I'll say like at least like from what I like my recollection of everything at this point is that Punk for a lot of people felt like he was the bad guy in all of it. There was definitely a lot of people that saw the Bucks and as the bad guys as well. But even then, like, what exactly?
And these guys got torched in the press conference. I mean, they got no kind of ability to defend themselves.
Are those the rumors? Like, are those like, was he referring to the Punk's comments from way back then? Like the Target management rumors? What are we talking about?
If that's your response to this promo, then this really didn't like land well, because you shouldn't have all these different questions, and that's all that you're left with here. Like
it was also that, and also the disconnect immediately when they started to say, well, Sting is not one of those people that we dislike. They're trying to push like this idea that, hey, now we want to get rid of all the cancers in the locker room, all the they might not want to say it, but like ex-legends, ex-WWE guys, what have you. And that might pose like an interesting campaign towards the Revolution match of Bucks targeting Matt Sydal. You know, like, I don't know, whatever. So now, yeah, whoever, whatever ex-WWE person that there might be. But then to just like disassociate it with Sting right away, it just feels like it's an incongruent sort of like two storylines that they have going on.
I think it's also like, granted, this is one promo, and where they go with it, we will see. But again, it's sort of like we saw this at times with like MJF, this like, we're going to lean into real thoughts that people have of the company. And yes, you are presenting it here with these two heels that are saying like, this company has changed and not for the better. There's a lot of your fan base that are nodding when they hear this, and that's not the feeling that you should be having. Like, if this were a heel 3 years ago that is giving this line that this company is dying and this company is full of cancerous performers, I think that's like a heel line that your audience would push back on. And today it's like, there is a significant amount of the audience that I think does look at that this company has, it has lost some of that spark when you're comparing it to 2 years ago. Like, what has that been? And now you have two characters that are kind of introducing this and painting it as like, this company has fallen from where it was at one point. And they're not saying it in an ironic way that the audience is arguing back. It's, I think a lot of your audience might be nodding in agreement with them.
And ultimately, what does any of that have to do with Sting? You know, that's what they have to figure out. They have to somehow, I can see the Bucks having a great idea for this type of character upon their return, but again, is the Sting retirement story the best time to introduce it?
Well, I guess they figure Sting goes down, that starts the
That
pathway to the
fixes
cancer.
Brawl Out.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Sting's retirement is the
He's
answer
not the
to Brawl
host,
Out.
but he is like he's a symptom of it. Okay, we'll
Got
get
it.
to the
Okay.
cancer, but we've got to start with Sting first. Okay.
Yes, got it.
There you have it. Nicholas and Matthew.